Have you ever wondered why some cars just feel right, even before you hit the ignition? Something about the badge, the shape, the history, it just speaks to you. For millions of drivers across the world, that feeling starts and ends with one name: Honda. But with so many flashy cars entering the market every year, EVs, turbocharged performance beasts, AI-powered SUVs, why does Honda still top the list for everyday drivers and loyal car lovers alike? Well, the answer lies deeper than specs or horsepower. It's psychological, it's emotional, it's trust. Built one model, one family road trip, one flawless engine at a time. In this video, we're going to break down the top 5 Honda cars of 2025 to 2026. And yes, we'll finally answer the question that's on a lot of minds. Is the Honda CR-V really the best Honda right now, or is it just overhyped? We'll dig deep, because this isn't just a list, it's a look into how Honda has mastered the formula of human psychology, giving people what they truly want in a car, whether they realize it or not. And hey, if you stick with this video till the end, you'll walk away knowing exactly which Honda fits your lifestyle, your budget, and even your emotional expectations from a vehicle. We promise, this won't be your typical top 5 list. This is insight built for people who genuinely love cars. Let's talk about why this matters now more than ever. The automotive world is shifting fast. EVs are gaining ground. Tech is evolving. Drivers today don't just want something that runs. They want something that understands them, a car that connects with who they are. And yet, despite all the change, Honda has stayed at the center of the conversation. That's not luck. It's strategy backed by decades of emotional intelligence and mechanical excellence. Think about it. What's the first thing that comes to mind when someone says Honda? Reliable, efficient, affordable, but also familiar, safe, and smart. That's powerful.
Because those aren't features, they're feelings.
And feelings drive decisions. Car lovers, and especially repeat Honda owners, don't just buy based on torque or touchscreen size, they buy based on how a car makes them feel over time. That feeling of, I can count on this. That's deep-rooted psychology, and Honda knows it better than most. A recent study from Auto Pacific showed that brand loyalty is still strongest with Honda and Toyota. Why? Because ownership isn't just technical, it's emotional memory. People remember the Honda that never let them down, the one they drove for 12 years without a single major repair, the one they learned to drive in or passed down to their kid. That's not just a car. That's an extension of identity. And here's the twist. Honda isn't even trying to be the flashiest brand. That's not their lane. They don't rely on gimmicks. They focus on practical design, long-lasting engines, and user-focused features that quietly work day in and day out. That's why it works so well. When you step into a new Honda in 2025 or 2026, what you'll notice isn't just updated tech or a sleeker body. You'll feel something more subtle: confidence. Confidence in the cabin layout. Confidence in the engine. Confidence that this car was built with the driver in mind. Honda never tries to overwhelm you. It earns your trust with every mile. This matters especially in today's market, where drivers are overloaded with options. Human psychology shows that when choices increase, clarity decreases. People crave familiarity and structure. That's why Honda keeps winning. Because when faced with 20 SUV options, most people don't want to gamble. They want the car that's been trusted by friends, neighbors, and mechanics for decades. And this is where the CR-V comes in. It's Honda's best-selling SUV for a reason. But is it the best Honda overall in 2025 to 2026? That's the debate. We'll break that down shortly. But before we get into the full list, here's something worth thinking about. Most car buyers today are searching for more than specs. They're searching for a car that makes life easier, safer, more efficient, less stressful. And Honda is one of the few companies that truly gets that. They design from the inside out, not just with drivers in mind, but with lives in mind. Whether it's the single parent needing something they can trust every day, the young professional wanting something smart, sporty, and affordable, or the weekend road tripper who needs room, reliability, and low maintenance costs, Honda builds for them, not just for gearheads or trend chasers. So if you're someone who values performance, reliability, and true peace of mind, you're in the right place. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to discover the top 5 Honda cars that aren't just mechanically excellent, they're psychologically satisfying. Stick around till the end. We're not just counting down, we're revealing why certain cars truly connect with drivers, and why some models are overrated while others are deeply underrated. So now the real question is, which Honda speaks to you the loudest, and why might the CR-V be more than just a bestseller? Let's dive in. So what exactly makes one Honda better than another? In a world full of specs, prices, and opinions, it's easy to assume that numbers tell the whole story. But cars, especially Hondas, go beyond numbers. They're personal. People don't just buy Hondas for what they are. They buy them for what they represent. That's why understanding what makes a Honda the best starts with understanding how people make decisions, especially when it comes to something as personal and long-term as a car. Most buyers believe they choose cars based on logic. But in reality, most choices are emotional first, and then justified with logic afterward. It's the same reason people trust a brand like Honda, because it makes them feel secure before they ever start thinking about engine specs or fuel economy. Psychologists call this the affect heuristic, a mental shortcut where feelings guide decisions before facts do. In the case of Honda, this shortcut is built on decades of trust, simplicity, and dependability. So when we talk about what makes a Honda model stand out in 2025 or 2026, we're not just comparing 0 to 60 times or screen sizes. We're measuring how well a car aligns with what people truly want, both emotionally and practically. There are 5 major factors that help define this. The first is reliability. It's more than just low repair costs. It's about emotional peace of mind. Honda has spent decades building a reputation for cars that run consistently year after year. That kind of track record creates a psychological safety net. You don't just hope your car will last, you expect it to. And that changes everything about how a driver feels behind the wheel. Second, efficiency versus performance. Honda knows its audience. While some brands chase extremes, Honda masters the balance. A good Honda doesn't need to be the fastest. It needs to feel responsive, smooth, and purposeful. The engine may not roar, but it moves when you need it to. It delivers just enough thrill to keep things interesting, without draining your wallet or your conscience at the gas pump. Then comes technology and safety. These aren't just features, they're built-in reassurance. The modern driver wants assistance, not complication. That's why features like Honda Sensing, adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, and advanced collision mitigation aren't just about ticking boxes. They reduce stress. They help you feel protected. And that plays directly into our psychology. When people feel in control and safe, they enjoy the ride more. Design is next, not the loud kind, the intelligent kind. Honda cars aren't designed to show off. They're designed to feel right. Clean interiors, intuitive dashboards, smooth lines. There's something deeply satisfying about sitting in a cabin where everything is where it should be, where visibility is clear, where your hands fall naturally onto the controls. That's not an accident. That's design rooted in user behavior and comfort psychology, and Honda has perfected it over time. And finally, value for money. A good Honda makes you feel like you got more than what you paid for. That's a powerful emotional reward. When your car drives like it costs more than it did, when maintenance is minimal, when resale stays strong, it reinforces your decision. And that post-purchase confidence is something few brands deliver as well as Honda. When you combine all 5 of these, reliability, balance, technology, design, and value, you get a kind of car that doesn't just function well, it fits your life. And that's the key. The best Honda isn't necessarily the fastest or the newest. It's the one that aligns with your needs, your habits, and your long-term expectations. That's also why Honda has such a broad appeal. Younger drivers love the Civic because it's agile, efficient, and stylish without being loud. Families trust the CR-V and Pilot for space, safety, and long-haul comfort. Professionals choose the Accord because it blends class, smoothness, and long-distance practicality. Even their EV entries, like the Prologue, are designed for ease of adoption, not disruption. This kind of smart positioning taps directly into how the human mind processes options. Studies show that too many choices create anxiety. But Honda simplifies the field. Each car has a clear purpose. It's not overwhelming. It's confident. That's why shoppers often land on a Honda even if they looked elsewhere first. And it's not just in the showroom. Think about the long game. Resale value, Honda consistently ranks near the top. Longevity, many Honda owners drive the same vehicle for 10+ years. That builds brand memory and trust transferred through generations. People don't just recommend Hondas, they hand them down. So when we look at the top 5 Hondas of 2025 and 2026, we're not chasing buzz or trend. We're measuring how well each model meets these 5 unshakable pillars and how they reflect the way real people live, drive, and decide. Because at the end of the day, a great car isn't just about what it does on paper, it's about how it makes you feel every single time you sit behind the wheel. And Honda Honda understands that better than most. Now that we understand what truly defines a great Honda, reliability, emotional security, balance, smart design, and real-world value, let's explore the models that actually deliver these things best. Not every Honda will make the cut. Some shine more on paper than on pavement. Others might be quietly brilliant, yet overlooked. But these 5 models, they speak directly to what drivers care about most right now. Let's start with number 5. Fifth, Honda Civic, 2026. The Civic isn't just a nameplate, it's a rite of passage. For generations, it's been the car that introduces people to the Honda experience. And in 2026, it's more refined than ever. The new Civic offers a design that's simple yet sharp, nothing overdone. Just clean lines, a well-sculpted profile, and an interior that feels tailored for real use. It's compact but not cramped, efficient yet still fun to drive. But what puts the Civic on this list isn't just the look or mileage, it's how it makes people feel. Young drivers love it because it doesn't try too hard. It respects their need for style and independence without adding noise. Older drivers appreciate it for its consistency and smooth handling. The Civic wins by doing the basics right, every single day. And in a world that's constantly changing, that kind of predictability brings comfort. Fourth, Honda Accord Hybrid 2025. The Accord has always been the grown-up Civic. More space, more presence, more power. But the 2025 hybrid version, it's a different kind of statement. It blends traditional Honda comfort with next-generation efficiency. The hybrid engine doesn't just save fuel, it transforms the way the car moves. Smooth, quiet, and responsive in city driving. Surprisingly strong on highways. This model appeals deeply to the modern professional mindset. People who value both logic and luxury. It says, I've made a smart choice, without sacrificing feel or status. The interior is calming, the tech is seamless, and the drive quality is consistent, especially for long commutes. Drivers love how the Accord Hybrid quietly supports their routine without asking for too much in return. That kind of vehicle creates emotional loyalty quickly. Third, Honda Prologue, EV 2025. Honda's electric future officially begins with the Prologue, and it lands with confidence. This isn't an experimental EV. It's built with the same Honda philosophy that made the CR-V and Civic iconic, practical, reliable, and emotionally accessible. What makes the Prologue stand out is its psychological approach to new tech. Many EVs feel unfamiliar, almost alien, but Honda designed the Prologue to feel like a Honda. From the layout of the cabin to the quiet confidence in its performance, it brings you into the electric age without intimidation. That's smart. Because data shows one of the biggest reasons people hesitate to buy EVs is fear of the unknown. Honda removes that fear by grounding the Prologue in familiarity, while still offering competitive range, fast charging, and a user-first interface. For those stepping into their first EV, the Prologue feels like a handshake, not a hard sell. And that's why it earns its spot here. Second, Honda Pilot 2026. When it comes to family SUVs, few vehicles feel as safe and substantial as the Honda Pilot. The 2026 version continues that tradition with a bigger, more refined design that puts both protection and comfort front and center. This is the kind of vehicle that plays directly into one of the strongest psychological drivers, the instinct to protect. Parents, caregivers, even pet owners, all feel emotionally safer when surrounded by the Pilot's size, visibility, and crash-tested structure. It's not just about space, it's about presence.
The Pilot doesn't just carry a family.
It shields it. Inside, it's quiet. Seats are wide. Third-row access is easier. There's technology to keep passengers entertained and safety systems that monitor almost everything. The Pilot doesn't pretend to be sporty or edgy. Instead, it offers something much deeper, peace of mind. That's why so many families stick with it year after year. First, Honda CR-V 2026. The top spot goes to the vehicle that consistently blends everything Honda stands for, and does it without shouting. The CR-V in 2026 is not just another crossover. It's a masterclass in balanced engineering. It doesn't dominate in any single area, but it excels in every important one. It's sized for flexibility, big enough for real cargo, small enough for city driving. It delivers impressive fuel efficiency, especially in hybrid trim, and maintains a smooth, quiet ride under all conditions. But the real reason it's number one is how it feels to live with. Every control is intuitive. Visibility is excellent. Seats are supportive without trying to be sporty. The infotainment doesn't fight you. It works. And once again, Honda has optimized the drive for what real drivers actually do: commute, shop, travel, and move their lives forward. Psychologically, the CR-V hits all the comfort triggers: safety, simplicity, trust, and capability. It doesn't ask for attention, but it earns respect through performance and consistency. That emotional alignment is what makes it the best Honda you can buy in 2026. It's not the most exciting vehicle, but it's the most complete. And for most people, that completeness is more satisfying than any one flashy feature. This is the car people recommend without hesitation. The one they buy again years later. The one that just works for everyone. So now that the list is complete and the Honda CR-V has claimed the top spot, the question remains, is it truly the best Honda of 2025 and 2026? Not the fastest, not the most luxurious, not the most innovative, but somehow still the most complete. That idea of something being complete rather than extreme speaks directly to what most car buyers actually want, even if they don't say it out loud. Most people don't need a car that turns heads at every stoplight. They need a car that simply shows up every day without compromise. One that quietly delivers confidence, freedom, and ease of use, mile after mile. This is where the CR-V separates itself from other vehicles, including others in Honda's own lineup. What makes the CR-V special isn't what you see, it's what you don't think about. You don't think about whether it'll start on a cold morning. You don't worry if it can handle a road trip with the family. You don't wonder if your maintenance costs will skyrocket after year 3. It erases those concerns silently, because it was built to remove stress from the ownership experience. Psychologists have long studied what's called cognitive load, the amount of mental effort we spend managing decisions. Cars that are unpredictable, difficult to operate, or require constant attention add to that cognitive load. Over time, that creates friction, fatigue, and even regret. But cars like the CR-V do the opposite. They lower that mental burden. They're consistent, simple to use, emotionally neutral in the best possible way. That's why owners report such high satisfaction even if they never call the car fun. Because satisfaction doesn't always come from excitement. It comes from trust. This is where the CR-V excels. It becomes invisible in the right moments and present when you need it. That balance, emotionally and practically, is rare. And Honda understands it better than most. But there's also a broader truth to recognize. What's best is not always universal. For younger drivers seeking sharper styling and a sportier feel, the Civic still carries unmatched value. It offers connection and excitement without financial strain. For professionals who want to merge comfort and conscience, the Accord Hybrid steps forward with grace and intelligence. And for families, nothing quite replaces the peace of mind the Pilot delivers with its size and safety focus. Even the Prologue, Honda's EV move, is not about pushing boundaries aggressively. It's about bringing people in. The future of driving, made emotionally familiar. So, is the CR-V the best Honda? For most people, most of the time, yes. But ultimately, the best car is the one that matches your lifestyle, your priorities, and your instincts. The CR-V just happens to match more of those categories than any other. This kind of match between machine and human doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of a brand philosophy that has stayed consistent over decades. Honda doesn't design cars to impress with numbers. They design cars to live with. That's why you'll hear people say things like, "I don't even think about my Honda, it just works." That is the highest praise a vehicle can receive. Not emotional highs followed by lows, but steady satisfaction. It's a form of quiet excellence. And in many ways, that's the most psychologically comforting kind of excellence there is. Honda's ability to meet drivers where they are, in their daily needs, habits, and concerns, is what keeps the brand relevant, even as the automotive world shifts around it. While other companies gamble with futuristic designs or push risky technology too soon, Honda continues to optimize the fundamentals. They prioritize clarity over confusion, usefulness over flash, and long-term joy over short-term thrill. This steady approach creates not just loyal customers, but generational loyalty. It's common to see households with 2 or 3 Hondas in the driveway. It's even more common to hear someone say, "My first car was a Honda, and I've stuck with them ever since." Because when a brand earns that kind of emotional credit, it doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to keep doing what it does best, building vehicles people can trust without second-guessing. And that's why in the fast-paced, high-tech, often noisy car market of 2025 and 2026, the Honda CR-V stands at the top. Not because it yells the loudest, but because it listens to what people truly want and delivers. It's not about being the boldest or the newest. It's about being the car you forget to worry about. And that, in itself, is a powerful reason to choose it. Whether you're upgrading your ride, shopping your first car, or just curious about where Honda is headed, one thing remains clear. When it comes to matching human needs with mechanical reliability, Honda still leads. And the CR-V, it's the clearest example of that leadership on the road today.